I'm Aaron Graber with Ventrac, and this is the latest version of our drop spreader. This will be the second product in a row that we have reintroduced rather than something that's brand new concept. And I think that's actually a really great thing because it shows that here at Ventrac we are not just looking towards new types of applications, we're trying to refine and improve what we already have as well. That's product support, that's listening to customers, that's trying to understand the market, and it shows who we are as a company. Okay, let me get into this real quick now. This is a spreader that has existed in our line for a very long time, basically since I got here over 10 years ago. And it's been really fantastic the entire time. Its performance, its functionality, everything's been great about it. So why did we redo it? What did we change? What's the point of a new drop spreader for Ventrac? And the answer to that lies mostly in the fact that this is probably the most expensive drop spreader on the market. There's good reasons for that. It performs like it's the most expensive drop spreader in the market. However, it's still the most expensive drop spreader in the market. So we took a whole new look at this thing to decide what could we do to make this drop spreader more affordable and not lose any of the durability, functionality, or feature set that we are used to and that our customers are used to. And I'm proud to say I think we delivered. It still remains one of the most expensive drop spreaders on the market. What I can say is we successfully took over $1,000 of cost out of this unit without decreasing the durability and in fact improving the functionality in a couple key ways. There are a few small differences about this spreader that we'll get into, but the main large difference and the reason for that price decrease is the elimination of the wireless controller. The wireless controller, originally when we designed this product, was meant to enable it to go onto multiple different machines and be a little bit more flexible. What we found is that generally the people buying these spreaders are people who are also Ventrac owners, and they're pairing it up with a 4520 or a 4500 and a cab setup. And the need for it to be able to go onto any and every machine under the sun is really not that high. So we decided to go to a wired controller, and what that does is save us on the controller and the motor, and it even opens up a few performance options that are a little bit different with this unit. We'll get into it when we get in the cab and show you the controller itself, but basically the way this works now is that there is an actual wired connection to this spreader. It feeds through the back of the soft side of the cab, up behind the seat, and then through to the spreader mount. It changes nothing about the accessibility of the spreader from inside of the cab, so the operator still has full control of changing all of the settings, turning it on and off, all of those things without leaving the cab, but it simplifies the componentry and probably makes it a little bit more durable and reliable as well. The wireless system wasn't something that we saw people having problems with, but it wasn't something that we saw people utilizing to the extent that it increased cost either. So let's talk about the one main benefit of changing those two components. When we change to a new motor and controller, and what it actually does is let us have the ability to have a wider range of drop out of this unit without changing the sprockets. If you know anything about our previous design, you'll know that we offered high and low speed sprocket options so that you could pick the range of operation of the machine, kind of a high or low range depending on what material and what application you were doing. We've now eliminated those sprockets because we don't need them anymore. Just the motor and controller by themselves have the ability to span the entire useful range that we need, and it simplifies all of the optional things needed to make this an ultimate machine for any type of application. What this means is that we've chosen a sprocket size that's somewhere in the middle, and then with the range of the motor and the spreader, we're able to get all the way down to the same place on the slow speed end of the spectrum, and we're able to go a little bit faster on the high speed end of the spectrum. This would be a good time to talk about that core functionality of the main purpose of the drop spreader, to move bulk material through it, and that is unchanged. We're carrying over the previous patented design of the old unit. One of the main things we spent a lot of time talking about on the previous unit when we first launched it and those first few years of getting them out into the market was how low of application rates you could achieve on the low side of the spread pattern. So all of the slide and gate and adjustments and all of the same things that are inside guiding that material from the bulk chamber out through the rollers is identical and is going to work the same way as you would expect a previous unit to work. The other design elements about this spreader that stay the same as before are that all of the functional components are stainless steel construction. Anything that comes in contact with that rock salt, anything that is structural, anything that is important for the long-term durability of this machine, all the drive mechanism is stainless steel design. The one place that we did change that is on these side panels. On both the left and right side, you'll now see that this is a poly side panel that's bolted to instead of the previous stainless steel panel. And this was just a small place we were able to take a little bit of cost out and improve the durability. These panels actually do a better job at resisting scratches and scuffs than the previous stainless panels. And when you do bang into them, it's much cheaper to replace these than the stainless panels were. Additionally, we also still offer, and it's not seen on this unit, a hopper extension kit that is the same kit as before, so you can double the capacity of this unit. As it's shown now, it's 2.5 cubic feet or 200 pounds. If you put those extensions on, you bump that up to 5 cubic feet or 400 pounds. The cover remains the same regardless of whether you have the extensions or not. I'm gonna open this up and show you that this soft cover rolls forward, allows you access to the inside of the bin. The one new feature that we do have on the inside of the cover is the new bag breaker. It's very simple design, but also very effective. I also want to talk about this soft cover briefly. Whenever you go through a product iteration and you make all of the changes necessary, you think about everything that's on the machine and decide whether you should change anything, improve anything. The cover was one area of debate. We looked at hard covers, talked about whether we should do a hard cover or not. Sometimes we've heard the feedback that people would prefer a hard cover, or they like another spreader that has a hard cover on top. And unfortunately for those people and their opinions, we did decide to keep the soft cover, but it wasn't a concession for us. We decided the soft cover actually works better for us. The whole point is to be able to keep moisture off of the top of this area so that you don't get moisture down into the rock salt. The soft cover obviously does that really well, but what it does better than a hard cover is remain durable over time. Because it's soft and pliable, it reaches around these corners, you can tighten it only to the extent that you need, and it kind of cinches up, closes everything off. Lifting a hard cover off, depending where you set it, what it can break up against, you can often do damage to that, and if you lose it entirely, then you don't have a cover that's working for you at all. One last thing that is different about this spreader that I want to talk about before we go to the controller on the inside of the cab is the mounting hardware. So that's something that used to have options. You used to be able to use the 2-inch receiver or the 3-point. We've now gone to just the 2-inch receiver mount. So that is the only way to mount this. And that looks pretty similar to the previous 2-inch receiver mount, but since it's no longer an option between the two, it is now also standard in the price of this unit, which saves you a couple $100 also further. All right, now let's take a look inside the cab, and we'll look at the controller that runs this spreader. All right, we're in the cab now, and this is the new spreader controller. It's pretty simple. There's not a whole lot to say about this. What you will see is the wire that's leading up to this controller. If I lift it up here, you can see that it comes all the way back. There's a connector, and it runs behind the seat, back through to this side, and then out the back side towards the spreader. Once you get it plumbed through the machine, it's very simple to just leave it as is. You don't make any changes or anything like that. And it's super simple. So you turn the key on, and that sends power to the controller. And as soon as you have that power, these are your simple adjustments. Your power button, lower and higher speeds for the motor. And then this button up here to the left is an important button because that's your burst button. So let's say you're running 1/3 total speed and you hold that burst button down. The moment you hold that burst button down, it runs all the way up to full speed for as long as you're holding it. And then as soon as you let go, it goes back to what your preset point was. So that's obviously really nice in a transition zone where you want to dump a little more salt just to be sure there's enough down or something like that, some situational time that you're driving a little faster and you want to put a burst down. That allows you to do that without making a permanent adjustment. But again, this controller, it bolts to the cab itself. There is almost nothing going on with it. Stupid simple, exactly how we like things to be designed. You turn them on, they just work. And that is everything there is to know about the new SA252 Drop Spreader from Ventrac. All of the same functionality that our customers have grown to know and love, with hopefully a little bit more accessible price point for more customers. Current pricing for the drop spreader is over here on the side of the screen. If you have any questions about this unit that we didn't cover today, drop them in the comments below or give us a call. You can also see more information about this at ventrac.com. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about this or you'd like to purchase one of these units, please reach out to a Ventrac dealer. Check us out online at ventrac.com, and we'll see you next time.